Hello everyone, Brickosaurus227 here, back to you with a brand new video. The AON Pro X is one of the best blasters you can get on the market, in my opinion, especially considering the very low price of $25. It literally has everything going for it, with pretty much not a single flaw about the blaster at all. But we didn't just get here. No, this is a predecessor, the upgraded version of the original AON Pro. This was technically the first Nerf Pro pistol or smaller sized blaster we got, because this basically came out right after the Nexus, which, you know, is really popular, but not many people talk about the original AON anymore. And my question is it still good today, and does it have anything to offer over the AON Pro X? Let's find out. Okay, so the AON Pro X operates how you'd expect. It's your general pump-action magazine-fed blaster. Now, there is a pretty cool option here that this has that the AON Pro X doesn't have, and that's the option to go from half-length to full-length with this adapter here, which actually comes quite in handy. There's a release for the adapter, and this release also works for full-length mags. So if you want to do full-lengths, you just take your Nerf 18-round stick mag and put it into the blaster, and you can use that instead. But to operate, you simply load up your mag. We'll be using Insanity darts because they are the best. No, I try to do a singing voice. Hold on. We're going to be using Insanity darts because they are the best. And but once you're done loading your magazine, whether it's the half dart mag or the full mag, you simply put it into the blaster, then prime the priming handle forward, and there you go. You're ready to fire. Make sure your safety is off, and make sure your safety is off. I said that and I didn't do it. And pull the trigger to fire, prime, fire. You know, this blaster does not have slam fire, unlike the AON Pro X, but it gets pretty good velocities, around 120, 130 FPS to my knowledge. It might actually be 150, but I'm 90% sure it's like 120 or something. Correct me in the comments. I should maybe look into that and actually do research before these videos. But it gets pretty darn good performance, and the accuracy is not that bad either, especially considering this blaster does not go with a barrel collet or anything, or even any kind of scar barrel, just a straight up metal barrel right in there. Now thankfully it is compatible with most scar barrels, so there you go. If you want to do that, you totally can. But instead it goes with this little barrel shroud, which I think looks pretty darn good. But with full lengths, I'm assuming you're probably going to get around 110 FPS and not 120. From what I can tell, I actually have not, I don't have a chronograph, so I wouldn't know. But the point is, it gets pro-level performance. And at the time, this was a big, big, big deal, especially considering that it shot half darts. But why am I firing it with full lengths right now? Well, this is kind of the point of the whole video, I guess. And I know this is an overview of the original AON Pro, but this blaster has one thing the AON Pro X doesn't, and that's full-length compatibility. And that's really all you're going to be getting out of this. If you just want a half-dart blaster, yeah, just don't even bother watching this. Get the AON Pro X instead. Just trust me, don't watch this review. But basically, I'm overviewing this as a full-length blaster because that's what it has to offer over the AON Pro X. But this blaster, all in all, is a very simple design. It's very basic. There's no extra frills. There's no things to switch out your springs or anything like that. There's one tactical rail on top here, Picatinny style. There is a place where you can put a scar barrel, but that's about it. The rest you have to take it apart and do stuff. Now, one little issue this blaster has is the prime. First off, you have this little prime slot, and that comes from the fact that this is compatible with half darts and full darts. A lot of times you will have a slop in a blaster that does that. It's not a big deal to me, but some people find it really annoying. The prime is probably the hardest part about this blaster because it is a little bit stiff. I personally have no problem priming it, but I can see where other people would. By far my biggest complaint is the safety, because it's very easy to hit the safety and then your trigger locks up and you can't fire your blaster. I'd actually probably end up removing the safety with this if I actually used it regularly. The plastic quality of this blaster is exactly what you'd expect. The kind of older Dart Zone plastic quality where they were first getting into Pro. It's not bad by any means. I wouldn't even say it's as bad as, say, X-Shot or something like that. Like, it's still pretty decent. It's still pretty good. It's still going to hold up pretty well over time. And that's one thing about this blaster that this actually has over the original Nexus Pro. People's Nexus Pros are breaking all over the place. The AON Pros are still holding up pretty well. In fact, this is a thrifted one right here, and it works perfectly fine. I've ran it through its courses. It is a perfectly functional and working blaster. They seem to hold up a lot better than the Nexus Pro, which is interesting. But before I ramble any further, let's take it out to the range and get some numbers. So in conclusion, the AON Pro is a pretty outdated blaster. It's definitely overhated these days, but it is very, very, very outdated. The AON Pro X just does everything better, and that's just a fact. I can't deny that. The plastic quality is better, the performance is better, the customizability is better. It has a stock point, which the AON Pro desperately lacks. You have more customizability on the front barrel with different tack rails, and then of course the scar barrel, which it actually includes not this bearing scar, but it goes with a regular scar, a P-car. Also, not to mention, this blaster has a much more smooth priming mechanism and a way better mag release system. It's just a better blaster overall. But like I said, the AON Pro has one thing over the AON Pro X: full-length compatibility. This is something I'm kind of really big on. I think a lot of people are too quick to jump on short darts, or go on the short dart train where we only have to use half darts, and only those. We don't need full lengths anymore. But I think full lengths should still be relevant in the hobby. They have a lot of uses. First off, they're much bigger, so they're easier to load. You can load them much faster, and they're easier to find. There's a lot of different reasons full lengths are better, in my opinion, and I personally think that we need to keep this style of blaster. I see too many blasters these days being half dart only, where we don't get that compatibility anymore, where you could go to full length to half. And again, I know half darts are technically better, practically speaking, but I'm still more partial to full length. I just like using it better than half length. Now, I know a lot of people say this is a bad blaster, and no, it's not a bad blaster. It never was. Just because it's outdated doesn't make it bad. And I think it does a lot of things right. It introduced half darts in a much more affordable price of $25. It's a very good blaster. It's comfortable. It's built relatively well for the price. It gets the job done. It is reliable. And the only reason, big downside I could see is the prime and maybe the lack of stock. But this is definitely more of a secondary style blaster, or maybe, something with holster. It's definitely not meant to be a, shouldered primary like the Nexus Pro, and I respect it for that. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this overview. I hope you enjoyed it. This is a blaster that's gotten way too much hate, and I want to give it some, its proper praises. This blaster did a lot. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
My junk drawer, my junk drawer. So many things, I don't know what they're for, but I won't let it go. No, I will add more useless little things to my junk drawer.